What is happening, family? Welcome back to Bill's Buzz. It is currently 3:10 in the morning. I just got back from midnight screaming over Spider-Man No Way Home, and I know you all have one question. Did it live up to the hype? I can unequivocally say, absolutely, it fucking did. This was a, this experience, that was the greatest time I've had in a cinema since Endgame. Since Endgame, hands down. This movie delivered punch after punch after punch. It just kept throwing just haymakers at the audience. People were screaming, people clapping. You know, it was like a bloody sporting event. It was incredible atmosphere. I haven't been that like giddy child, like just sitting in the cinema for so long. I'm so tired as well. I'm gonna gather my thoughts tonight. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna sleep it off. I'm gonna come back tomorrow, which for you will be right now, obviously. But we are talking spoilers. Yes, we are. Spoilers? Let's go. Alright guys, so just woke up. You know, I've settled down after last night. We are back to being normal-ish. Alright, so let's get into this. So like I said, going to be a spoiler review because I could talk about this. I could talk about this movie without spoiling it. But why would you want to talk about this without talking about the spoilers? There's everything exciting that happens involves spoilers. So villains first. Obviously, everyone that's seen the trailer, we know we got Jamie Foxx back as Electro, Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, Willem Dafoe back as Green Goblin, and we got Thomas Hayden Church as Sandman. All right, so they're the main four. They're the main four that we've got. There is also Kirk Connors, Rhys Ifans back as Kirk Connors from The Amazing Spider-Man, the original, which I mean, we saw him in the trailer. I didn't even think about it though. When he popped up, I was like, hey, damn, that's Kirk Connors. All right, so these villains, these guys. First of all, let's start with Jamie Foxx as Electro. Electro is not the bumbling idiot that he was in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Electro is good now. I don't know. They knew what they did wrong in the first one. He's good now. I loved him in this movie. He was actually menacing. Had some severe power behind him this time around. You know, he wasn't just a complete and utter moron, which is great. So that was awesome. Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus. He was made to play that part. He is just phenomenal. He's got the right amount of intensity in this movie. He comes with the right amount of jokes as well. He's locked in this movie, and he is absolutely incredible. But he is not the best. The best villain in this movie, hands down, Willem Dafoe back as Green Goblin. He is phenomenal as Green Goblin. He is so menacing, and it's exactly like in the first one where he's got that split personality, and he floats a lot better in this one than he did in that first Spider-Man. This one, you can tell he's locked in as Norman Osborn as the nice guy, and then when that switch happens, he's menacing. He is absolutely terrifying, and he's got that same menacing laugh, you know, the one where he's like, It is phenomenal stuff, phenomenal acting. I love Willem Dafoe. All right, and then Kirk Connors, Rhys Ifans as the Lizard, and Kirk Connors, he's all right. He's a bit of a nothing villain. And Sandman, he's the same. He's sort of underutilized. You think to begin with he helps Spider-Man defeat Electro, and then at the end he goes evil again for no apparent reason. That was one of the downers. Those two, they weren't great, but still, the other three, phenomenal. Right. This is going to be a bit jumpy because I forgot to mention a couple of things when I was filming earlier. So, I want to say, firstly, Charlie Cox is back as Daredevil in this movie. Charlie Cox is back. The man that is the one and only true Daredevil in this universe is back. Charlie Cox is great as well that he is Daredevil, because he's one of the few people that actually have the double letter first name, surname, you know, CC Charlie Cox. With, like, you know, all the characters have it, like Bruce Banner, Peter Parker, Stephen Strange, all of them. So that's a nice little tidbit, which I love. Charlie Cox is back. Let's go. Let's get into the first big thing that happened. So Spider-Man breaks all these guys out of the prison that they're being held in by Doctor Strange, and it takes them, with Aunt May's help, to Happy's house. While there, this is where shit hits the fan big time. This is when the movie goes from good and build up, and then from this point it is just chaos and fist pump moments for the rest of the entire movie, which is fantastic. So the Green Goblin's the one that masterminds the escape. he sort of gets in everyone's heads, gets them all to rip up their shit. After Doc Ock's already been cured, which is great. Doc Ock is like, he's there. He's helping these guys. He's phenomenal. Alfred Molina. All right, so Green Goblin, he takes over. Him and Spider-Man have this crazy brawl throughout the entire apartment structure. They are slamming through floors, getting chucked through windows, glass shattering, shit going everywhere. It's unreal. And then down the bottom, Aunt May's running down the stairs, and eventually they meet in the lobby of this apartment building, and Green Goblin is basically acting like he's going to kill Aunt May, and you think, yeah, okay, sure you are, pal. And then, out of nowhere, the glider appears in the front of the apartment. The glider comes flying through, smashes into Aunt May. She goes flying. Peter's there. He has had the shit kicked out of him. He's got nothing left. And then Green Goblin gets on his glider and he flies away. After chucking one last grenade in there, he gets out of there. Spider-Man knocks out of the way. They both get hammered by the blast. And then he goes over to see Aunt May. And Aunt May is not in good shape, all right? And you know she's hurt, but you don't think she's, in severe condition or anything. And then she hits Peter with that line of, with great power comes great responsibility. And you just, because we didn't see Uncle Ben die in the first one, you think that line has already been said and that he already has been told that in Uncle Ben's death. But clearly it wasn't. And when Aunt May says that line and it hits, it lands, it's unbelievable. And then she's lying there in his arms and you can just see the life fading out of it, and he touches where the wound is, he touches down, he lifts his hand up and you see it's covered in blood, and you think, shit, is Aunt May gonna die right now? And you think, surely not, she can't. It's Aunt May, she didn't die. And then the life just gets sucked out of her eyes, and you just linger on Peter for a moment. He's just screaming, begging for her to wake up, and she just, that she's not going to. And that couple minute scene is just heart-wrenching. It just rips your heart out of your chest, and you think, damn, this kid has lost everything, absolutely everything, and it is so heartbreaking. From there, we go straight into where Ned and MJ are sitting in Ned's mum's house. And this is where shit gets fucking crazy. So they're sitting in the house. Ned's got his Doctor Strange's magic portal thing. He opens a portal to find Peter. And as soon as he does that, you see there's someone in a Spider-Man suit off in the distance. And as soon as this happened, my theater just had this bumbling sense of all these hushed, everyone just took a deep breath in, and everyone knew what was coming. Everyone knew exactly what was coming. And as Spider-Man comes running in, you can see that it's a different suit. You can see that it's from not the suit that Tom Holland Spider-Man would be wearing. And he rips his mask off, and it's Andrew Garfield, and my theater erupted. It was like nothing I've ever experienced. It was the same roar that you got in Endgame when Cap wielded Mjolnir for the first time. It was that roar, that pure excitement in the crowd there, and I still get goosebumps thinking about it. So Andrew Garfield's there, they have a little fun scene, and then MJ says, well, you just got to keep trying until we find the right Peter. So he opens another one, and what happens now, except Tobey Maguire steps through, it's just him, he's not in a suit, he's just in his usual garb, and the same eruption happens again. It was just, the feeling in that cinema was absolutely electric, and it is something that I'm just so glad that I got to see this at midnight. It was just an incredible atmosphere watching this movie. All right, so those two come through, and the back and forth between those two as well is just so good. And then they go and find Tom Holland's Peter Parker, who's on the roof of his high school. So anyway, then those three have this incredible moment together where Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are recalling their lessons of pain that they'd learned in their movies. You had Andrew Garfield losing Gwen at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2, and you can see the raw emotion in him as he's talking about that. He's never going to forgive himself from it. You can just tell, and he says that in the thing, he'll never be able to forgive himself. And it hits, it lands. All of these things land exactly. Everything that they talk about, it all lands, and it's all incredible stuff. And Tobey Maguire talks about, how he was responsible for Uncle Ben's death, and that movie was nearly more than 20 years ago now. It's just so much history, and you can feel it. You feel that emotion. So anyway, they come up with a plan. They're in the high school science lab, and they're just, the back and forth banter. They're all doing Peter Parker science stuff, and it's incredible. It is everything you could want from this movie and more delivers. For a movie this hotly anticipated, for it to land this well is just ridiculously good. So they create all the anti-stims for the villains. They go to the Statue of Liberty, and then just before they fight all the villains, they have this, few-minute conversation where it's just them just trading banter back and forth. They're talking about Tobey Maguire's natural webs as opposed to the mechanical ones. A lot of good jokes with that. And it's just, you could just put these three Spider-Men in a room and just have them talk about Spider-Man stuff, and I would watch that movie, because it's just incredible. It's just, everyone loves these characters so much, especially these three Spider-Men. Spider-Man has a special place, I think, in the majority of people's hearts. And these three just on the screen together is something that no one thought would ever happen, and it just lands so well. So anyway, then the final fight happens, and it's exactly as you'd expect it would be. It's three Spider-Men swinging around. The shot of the three Spider-Men swinging over the Statue of Liberty, and those guys just swinging in, smashing into the villains one by one. It really is just incredible. It's just, I can't really explain it more than that. It was just unfathomable how much I was enjoying myself in this movie. I was literally just sitting there. From the moment that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire walk in, I was just sitting there like this. I couldn't wipe the smile off my face for the last hour of the movie. There's also one moment that I can't believe I forgot to mention. It's my favourite moment in the entire film. The moment where Zendaya is falling from the Statue of Liberty, and Tom Holland Spider-Man goes to save her, and he can't quite grab her. Who jumps in but Andrew Garfield? He leaps down, he grabs her so easily, he saves her, gets redemption for not saving Gwen from Amazing Spider-Man 2. The redemption on him, it's just, my heart, fam, my heart. I felt amazing when that happened. All right, so the final thing we need to talk about. John Watts directed this movie. He directed Far From Home, and I think he did Homecoming as well. Yeah, he did Homecoming as well. So his directing style is really good. He really captures the essence of what Spider-Man is. Like when Spider-Man is swinging through buildings and that, it's filmed so well, and you feel in it. You feel the raw speed of what they're doing, of like him actually swinging through the buildings, and it's really, really good. And the way he directs action as well is super wide. You can see everything, and it's really, really beautiful to look at when you see these wide action shots, and you can see what's happening. It's not just 100 jump cuts here and there, and But I want to talk about the one end fight between Tom Holland Spider-Man and Green Goblin. Now, Green Goblin obviously killed Aunt May. Tom Holland Spider-Man wanted to kill him. He was just laying into him, punch after punch after punch. And the way that that's directed, it's up close, it's gritty, it's different to all of the other fights that have been in any of the Spider-Man movies. It is pure, raw anger and hatred and emotion in that fight. And you feel it. You feel that Tom Holland wants to kill him. And for a second, you think he will. He picks up the glider, he goes to slam it into him. Who stops him but Tobey Maguire? Tobey Maguire knows that killing someone for revenge does not do anything for you, and it can send you down a really dark path. And then what happens? But Green Goblin stabs Tobey Maguire in the back, and you think, oh shit, is Tom Holland going to kill him now out of like even more revenge, like out of just pure hatred and give in? No, he doesn't. Andrew Garfield chucks the antidote. Tom Holland Spider-Man grabs it, stabs it into his neck, and then we get rid of the Green Goblin, and we're left with good Norman Osborn, and that's great. But now let's talk about that final spell that Doctor Strange casts, because Spider-Man makes the ultimate sacrifice to cast the original spell that Doctor Strange was going to, where everyone forgets that he's Spider-Man. The spell gets cast, he has this final moment with MJ, which is beautiful, but then he goes to visit her in the restaurant from earlier in the film where she works, and you can see how much he wants to tell her. He's rehearsing the script on the way in, but he gets in there, and he can't bring himself to tell her, and I think for a moment there he was going to, and then she pulls her hair and he sees the little bandage across her head where she was hit from the fight. And you can see in his heart, he thinks, if I tell her and she gets involved with me again, he's just going to keep hurting her. Not him personally, but she'll be in danger for the rest of her life if she's with him. And so he makes the ultimate sacrifice to stick with the spell that's been cast and stay pure anonymous. And you can feel that that's not what he wants to do, but it's what he needs to do. It's the right decision that Spider-Man would make. And I love him for it. And then he goes and visits Aunt May at her grave, which is great. He had a little moment with Happy, and Happy talks about Tony Stark there, which is awesome. He says a great line. I can't remember what it is exactly, but it's something about it hurts that they're gone, and then it hurts all over again because you wonder if what they stood for is gone as well. And you know that with Tony, that's not true, because Spider-Man's still there, and Spider-Man is the essence of what Tony stood for. He is pure good, and Aunt May is the same. The best of Tony Stark and Aunt May lives in Spider-Man, and that's the hope that you get leaving the cinema. That's the hope going forward, that he is just the best of everyone in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He is pure good, and you're left with just incredible hope from that scene. But then the final scene, it's him. He gets a new apartment like the one in Spider-Man 2 as Tobey Maguire is struggling. It looks very similar to that little apartment. It's great. So hopefully in the next Spider-Man we can see Tom Holland Spider-Man delivering some pizza like we got at the start of Spider-Man 2. If that happens, that will make my days. If that happens, I will be so happy if I see Tom Holland Spider-Man swinging through with a pizza in his hand, delivering it to people. That will make me so happy. And finally, you get the final shot of him swinging through the city, but not in any suit that we know. He's made some little adjustments, and you can see that it's based entirely on what Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man suits look like. It's more bright, vibrant blue, vibrant red, and it's not the metallic look that Tony Stark gave him. It's not, the little Spider-Man logo. It's the original old school Spider-Man logo, big on the chest, and it looks phenomenal, that suit looks incredible. Finally, it would be remiss of me not to mention the post-credit scenes. I can't believe I forgot to mention the post-credit scenes. So we have first one, Tom Hardy as Venom is in the universe. He's in Tom Holland's universe at this point. He gets snapped out eventually, which is a little bit annoying when he goes back. So who knows what's going to happen there? But you see the little sliver of of Venom. What's it called? Symbiote. The symbiote. The little sliver of the symbiote is there, and you just know there's going to be another movie. You know it's going to be Venom. Let me have it. Let me have all of the Venoms. All of them. And then the final post-credits is nothing more than a trailer for Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, Madness in the Multiverse. We get a trailer, and I can't entirely remember what happened. I was a little bit shocked just sitting there watching it. I was so tired at that point as well. But the one shot that sticks with me is, if you've seen What If, you know that the one episode, the Doctor Strange episode, where he turns evil trying to save whatever Rachel McAdams' character name is from the film. I can't remember what her name is, but the one that died early in it. When he tries to save her, and he goes evil in that What If episode, and then there's that one shot at the end of the trailer where it's evil Doctor Strange, and he is looking menacing. He's looking so menacing, and he turns around and he's just got that evil grin to him. And that movie's going to be insane. It's going to be so epic. I can't wait for it. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good stuff here in the MCU. It is all good stuff. So finally, the rating for this movie. Obviously, we need to give it a rating. Now, my best rating system that I've come up with goes perfect, world-class, elite. This movie is not perfect. It's not perfect. Few movies are perfect. But this movie is as close to perfect as it would be. But I can't give it perfect. I have to give it absolutely world-class movie. But it's not quite perfect. I think if Sandman and the Lizard weren't so nothing villains, if they had a little bit more depth to them, I think that would have added a lot to it. And that could have pushed it over the edge. But, we had 3 great villains. We had Spider-Man being amazing. So, yeah, world-class movie. As close to perfect as I think any movie will come in the next few years. I absolutely adored this movie. As you can tell, I've been rambling on for like nearly 20 minutes now. So, guys, if you're still watching, please drop a like, please comment, please subscribe, do all that stuff. It's been great talking about this movie. It's been great seeing this movie. I'm definitely going to go and see this movie again in theaters at least once, probably twice, maybe 3 times. Who knows? But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. All right, peace.